Welcome to Real HD TV, where we will take you behind the scenes to meet the legends of Hollywood. With us today is a true Hollywood legend, Julie Adams. Julie, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
It's great to have you. How were you discovered to appear in motion pictures and television?
Well, I'm not sure I was really discovered. I think I kept knocking on a lot of doors until finally they got tired and just let me in. Actually, my very first break was in a quickie western, The Dalton Gang. And we made it in 6 days. And so then they called me back. We made 6 movies in 5 weeks.
Wow.
So I came out and read for a role in a film called Bright Victory with Arthur Kennedy. I got that role, and then they picked up the option for a contract. So then I was a contract player at Universal.
That's great. So as a contract player at Universal, you know, actors today go from project to project. What was it like to be under contract with the studio back in that era?
It was absolutely wonderful for me because it was like a home base, and you got to know everybody on the lot. It was wonderful because you got to work with all these lovely, lovely stars.
And you've had the pleasure of working with many leading men. Rock Hudson, you named, John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart,
Tyrone Power.
Tyrone Power.
Oh, yes.
Quite a few.
Oh,
Elvis.
yes. Oh, yes.
Who was your favorite?
Van Heflin.
Van Heflin, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Who was your favorite to work with?
Well, it was a pleasure to work with all of them. Mm-hmm. But I think my favorite has to be James Stewart because he was really the first star that I worked with, and that was in Bend of the River. Plus, he was such a lovely man.
I know everybody wants to know about an Elvis story. What was it like to work with Elvis?
Well, I'm from the South, as you know, and to me, Elvis was a very courteous young Southern gentleman, soft-spoken, very polite. I was, quote, the older woman in the picture. I think I was like 35 or something. Right. And there were a number of young ladies in the picture, and he sent all of us bouquets on the first day of shooting.
Oh, that's nice.
Very, very nice. And one day we had, while they were setting up the lights for a scene, we had a quiet conversation. He got to talking about being in the service. And he said, I just wanted to be treated like one of the guys. And I found that very poignant because I thought, of course, Elvis Presley in the Army was not going to be just one of the guys. He couldn't be, but that's the kind of young man he was. Very, very kind, soft-spoken. I was very fond. I was very happy that I had gotten to know him.
The Creature from the Black Lagoon, obviously tens of thousands, probably millions of fans around the world
it's amazing.
Today. The movie was made, I think, 55 years ago, and some have said it's a version of Beauty and the Beast, but it continues to be, have a growing fan base and have people that just love the film. Why do you think that film has endured and has become so popular?
It's just, I guess, a really terrific movie. It's amazing, the fans. And of course, none of us ever thought we'd be talking about this movie all these years later. But that's fun about show business. You really never know.
There's a scene in the film where you're swimming, and the creature's swimming underneath you, and he reaches up and touches your foot, and you're swimming, and all of a sudden you stop swimming, and you look around. Did they actually tickle you underwater to get that reaction? Because you really, it's very realistic. It works. The scene works. Do you remember that scene?
Oh, yes, I remember it well. I really can't say that they sent somebody down underwater just to touch my foot.
Okay.
So I had to act that.
Okay. All right. Great. Now, Julie, you've done films for many years. How many credits do you have at this point? Do you know?
I think it's getting close to 150 or something.
Wow. That's incredible. Is there any advice that you have for young actors today that are trying to make it in film or television?
Well, I think it's very helpful for the actor himself or herself to have that attitude, because otherwise you can get depressed because you go out for many jobs and you know, especially when you're starting out, you may get turned down for a lot of them. So you just have to stick with it, not give up. And so that was kind of my attitude, and keep learning.
Julie, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us today. It's been such a pleasure with your fascinating career.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it very much.
All right, my friends, that's a wrap on this episode. Stay tuned on Real HD TV, where we will bring you another candid conversation with a Hollywood legend.